Are you trying to lose weight but finding it harder than expected? Do you feel tired throughout the day, struggle with brain fog, or constantly crave sweet foods? Maybe you feel like you need to eat all the time. If any of that sounds familiar, chances are you're dealing with unstable glucose levels. Don't worry, you're not alone. I was right there too, feeling exhausted and reaching for something sweet more often than I wanted. In this video, we're going to dive into a few simple food habits that can seriously change how you feel day to day. These hacks can help you feel more energized, less hungry, in a better mood, and make fat loss feel more manageable than before. Before we jump in, I want to introduce someone who inspired a little bit this video, which is Jessie Introspect, better known as the Glucose Goddess. She is a biochemist and the author of Glucose Revolution. After reading and studying her work, I decided to put several of her ideas to test myself. Over the course of a week, I tested 4 different hacks by eating the same meals in different ways and removing sweets or making them an exception out of curiosity to see how my body responded. I also ate the same sugary foods, making some exception for the holidays, and at the end I combined all the hacks into one ultimate meal to see how much of a difference they could make together. There's also a bonus hack at the end, so stick around. First, let's quickly talk about glucose and why it matters. Glucose is a type of sugar that your body uses for energy. Most of it comes from carbohydrates. After you eat, glucose enters your bloodstream. When too much enters too quickly, your energy rises fast and then crashes just as hard. That crash is what makes you feel tired, foggy, and hungry again soon after eating. Over time, repeating this cycle can lead to constant cravings, weight gain, and more serious health issues besides a non-productive routine. That's why keeping glucose levels stable is important for everyone, not just for people with diabetes. Fewer spikes mean steadier energy, fewer cravings, and better overall health. Now let's get into the hacks. The first hack is eating your food in the right order. I do like to start my day with lukewarm water to start the digestion, then start your morning with eggs. I do fried, some raw cheese, and currently I drink a small coffee a day in which I add a lot of milk. Thankfully, now we have access to raw milk from Village Ladies. Ideally is to avoid carbs now. If you really want some, maybe a slice of bread, but homemade or sourdough, not the store-bought bread from the store with 30 ingredients. If you feel like it is not enough and still have room for more, then I would eat some red meat or some mini steaks. This should easily keep you energized until lunch. If you do want to snack on something, I would do blueberries. Blueberries are among the lowest GI fruits, which means that they have minimal impact on your blood sugar. When carbs are eaten first, they break down quickly and enter bloodstream. Eating protein first slows this process down. While the meal might not taste quite as a hamburger, it actually becomes very exciting when eating this way because of the effects on energy and hunger afterward. It's gonna be very noticeable. The key takeaway here is to experiment with flavors and preparation so each part of the meal is still enjoyable. Enough salt on the eggs, high-fat milk. I would skip adding sugar into the coffee. The second hack is vinegar. Any type works. Apple cider, balsamic, red wine, or white wine vinegar. Vinegar helps slow down how quickly food turns into sugar and can reduce cravings and hunger afterward. I tested this before having something sweet, and the difference in how I felt afterward was huge. One thing to note, dilute it with water to ingest it easier. Even if you forget to take it before eating, it can still help if taken shortly afterward. It's not something as needed when the diet is whole ingredient based, but is a nice thing to do if you want to maximize results. The third hack is adding a green starter. Instead of rearranging your meal, you add a small fiber-based dish before eating, like a cucumber or cooked vegetables. The idea is to eat fiber first, but it's often more practical, especially when eating out. I found these made meals more satisfying overall, and I felt fuller sooner. This works especially well for meals like pizza, pasta, or restaurant food, where eating in a strict order isn't always possible. The fourth hack is the most important in my opinion and is actually related to the old way of living, where the foundation of society was blue-collar jobs, and the white-collar jobs were not as popular. Movement after eating. This one is simple, free, and brings so many healthy benefits from physical to mental improvements. If you eat out, take a 10-minute walk to use all that energy from the meal. Moving your body helps use the energy from your meal right away instead of letting it linger. You don't need an intense workout. Walking light, cleaning, or a few bodyweight exercises all count. Even short movement sessions made a noticeable difference in how sluggish or energized I felt afterward. Sitting still after a big meal almost always led to that heavy, sleepy feeling. The fifth and bonus hack is saving sweet foods for dessert, and ideally, if you want to go hardcore, do desserts only once a week or once a month. Eating sugary foods on their own can lead to big energy swings, but when sweets are eaten after a balanced meal that includes fiber, protein, and fat, the impact is much gentler. This doesn't mean sweets are healthy, but it doesn't mean if you don't want to cut them out completely, this way of consuming them might be helpful. Timing matters. Now, carbs are tasty, we all love them, so if I plan to have a high carb meal, then I would have it around 4 p.m. when my day slows down. So in terms of energy level, and so when the crash happens, I can just allow myself for an evening walk or for some house cleaning or even a nap if possible to enjoy. Finally, I tested everything together with a low carb meal. When I ate it the way I normally would, mixing everything together and eating quickly, I felt great, no much impact on my energy. The way I suggest it is to have lots of protein of your choice, lots of vegetables, and the carb of your choice to not be more than 30%. The next day, I used all the hacks: vinegar beforehand, the cream starter, eating fiber first and moving afterward. The difference in how I felt was clear. The more hacks I combined, the better the outcome, but even more made a difference. One last thing worth mentioning is how fast you eat. Eating too quickly can undo a lot of these benefits. Slowing down gives your body time to process food properly and respond more smoothly. If I had to pick the most impactful change for me personally, it was prioritizing protein first throughout eating in order to have less room for carbs. This way I felt more energized throughout the day. Everyone's body is different, so the best approach is to experiment and pay attention to how you feel. I hope this helped you as much as it helped me. If you decide to try any of these hacks, let me know which one is your favorite and which one worked for you. Thanks for watching, and remember to appreciate the food we get to enjoy every day. Hidden under this cloth are the only 18 groceries items we buy almost every single week. That's a big claim, I know, but if you want to eat well, stay healthy, and actually control your food spending, you'll want to see what's underneath. So let's get into it. These aren't specific brands, but 18 core items or categories that together are enough for a healthy, nutritious, balanced diet. Why am I doing it? Because last week I shared a video on anti-inflammatory foods, and this is the natural follow-up. What that actually looks like when you're standing in a grocery store. I want to show you how simple shopping can be when you focus only on what truly matters. Modern supermarkets are designed to make us buy more than we need. The average grocery stores carry around 30,000 products, and even more than this in the US. Most of it is unnecessary. The result? Overspending, overeating, and throwing away huge amounts of food every year. A quick note before I start, the list isn't rigid. Depending on where we live, we buy and we don't buy certain foods. For example, in the US, we often buy wild Alaskan salmon. I feel like we have it maybe 4 times a week. In Romania, we love a specific Greek-style yogurt that we just consume daily. And in Georgia, we buy Matoni, a local yogurt, and Lebne, which is a Turkish Syrian type of yogurt that, yeah, we just consume daily here too. If you have food intolerances or specific dietary needs, your list will look a little different, and that's fine. Also, we do use other ingredients, but not weekly, so they're not included here. Think of this as a foundation, not a rule book. I actually encourage you to adjust it. Tell me in the comments what you'd keep, what you'd remove, and what you'd swap up. The list, we build it like a meal. I'll start with olive oil. You need a cooking fat, and olive oil is our go-to. It's versatile, heart-healthy, and works for everything from salads to sautéing. Just be mindful of heat, it burns more easily than other seed oils. Garlic and onions are non-negotiable. Almost every meal we cook starts with these two. They're so essential that I separate them from the rest of the vegetables. Each week we choose one main protein, lamb, beef, or chicken. This time it's gonna be frozen fish. Lamb is incredible, versatile, roasted, baked, or pan-fried, and one piece can stretch across multiple meals. Same with fish, we can fry, bake, and use the heads for soup. We buy ours from local farmers when possible, and strongly recommend choosing organic if you can. We also use beef mince regularly. It's still one of the most flexible ingredients you can buy. Burgers, soups, pasta, sauces, tacos, it just works well. We avoid pork simply because we don't feel it gives much value. Lentils or beans, pick one each week. These are fantastic for stretching meat, building soups and stews, or making simple vegetarian meals. They're high in protein and fiber, inexpensive, and incredibly filling. Canned or dried can work. If this is helpful so far, liking the video or subscribing really supports the channel. Eggs. No explanation really needed for it. It's affordable, nutritious, and endlessly useful. Salt. If you strip everything back, salt is the only seasoning you truly need on a weekly basis. Herbs and spices are great, but they are not weekly purchases. Water, bottled or filtered, or even packed with stickers from the kids. We actually buy our water. It's something we drink and cook with every single day. Soups, rice, pasta, bread. So for us, it makes sense to treat it like a real ingredient. Tap water often contains chlorine, mineral buildup, or residue from old pipes. It's usually safe, but we'd rather keep unnecessary stuff out when it's the central of our diet. If you don't buy water, a simple step like boiling tap water can help reduce some of that and improve the taste. It's not about being extreme, just about making the small upgrade to something you use constantly. Vegetables and plant foods. Fresh vegetables. I group these together intentionally. The specific vegetables don't matter as much as actually buying and using them. We always have carrots and potatoes and work in almost anything. Frozen vegetables. It's a lifesaver. They're always available, nutritious, and easy to add in the meals or on the side. Here in Georgia, we don't really buy frozen because at the market they have fresh village vegetables. But when we are in the US or Romania, we can find really great options of frozen vegetables. Now for carbs and basics, pasta, any shape works. It's affordable, filling, and endlessly adaptable. Rice. We usually use jasmine rice. It's easy to cook, versatile, and works across many cuisines. Flour means bread, pancakes, and baking. When you keep flour at home, you naturally cook more from scratch and rely less on ultra-processed foods. We bake our own bread every couple of days. I just took 3 out right now. And honestly, I cannot go back to store-bought bread. Dairy and fats. Milk, butter, and cheese. Butter for cooking, cheese for flavor, milk for everyday use. If you're lactose intolerant, you can swap this out and increase fruit and vegetables instead. Peanut butter. Choose a good quality one if you can. It's great on toast, in smoothies, and mixed with yogurt. Simple and filling. Finishing with fruit. As long as you have a couple of fruits each week, apples, bananas, citruses, you're covered. We're lucky to have our own mandarins, oranges, and even a lemon tree, which is a real blessing. Fruit is our snack and smoothie base, and it keeps us away from packaged snacks. A bonus sample for us is nuts. For us, this is one cashews, but we rotate with almonds or pumpkin seeds depending on what we're missing. A great source of healthy fats and easy calories. So there you have it. Around 18 core grocery items that cover a healthy, balanced diet and keep food shopping simple. I made some tough calls here, and there's plenty of room for discussion. Let me know what you would add, what you'd remove, and what you'd change. If you enjoy this kind of content, hit subscribe, and if you want more ways to cut your food bills, check out the next video. These are some of the anti-inflammatory foods I eat every week. As a young mother, pregnant with my third child in just 3 years while taking care of 2 little ones, these foods became the foundation that helped me stay energized, avoid pregnancy complications, recover easily after birth, and carry no extra kilos. They supported my hormones, my gut, my energy, and my ability to stay calm and stable on very little sleep. But they are not just for mothers. These foods helped people around me too, like people who suffered from asthma, diabetes, and chronic inflammation for years. Real food helped them regain their breath, their energy, and their clarity, just like it helped me stay strong and healthy through 3 pregnancies. They are the foods that helped heal my body, and they are the reason why I no longer suffer from low energy, gut issues like acidic stomach, cavities in my mouth, pregnancy nausea, and irritability while raising small children. These are the foundation for healing numerous diseases like asthma, colitis, obesity, autoimmune symptoms, or brain fog. Not just that, but it will also keep you away from the dentist. Add some of these foods to your daily life and you'll watch how your energy, your digestion, and your mental clarity will change dramatically. Our bodies are designed to always trying to repair. You just have to give it the right tools. Before I start talking about what to eat, we have to know a little bit about what not to eat, because healing doesn't start with adding more. Healing means we need to change something. It starts with taking away what's new in the human diet and what historically our ancestors did not deal with. The biggest thing that changed my health was cutting out sugar. By cutting out sugar, by default, you remove a lot from your normal diet. No sweets, no snacks, no sodas, no ultra-processed foods, no fake protein bars, no fruit yogurts, no low-fat milk because they replace the fats with the sweet taste to make it actually taste good. No bread, no biscuits. You'll be surprised how many things have to be removed and how much money you actually save in your pocket every month. A couple of tips for actually accomplishing this is to do the grocery list at home. A strict list, ideally, that follows a meal plan for the week. To try to think about how much it will cost you and to try to not carry more than that amount of money with you. And one of the most important one is to eat before. Make sure you're full, so in this way you don't buy more than you need. Even if it feels hard, most addictions clear within 2 weeks. So if you go through these 14 days, everything will become extremely easy after that. Very important, no seed or refined oil sources, and especially no low-fat products pretending to be healthy because they're not. Many modern packaged foods contain industrial seed oils, refined starches, artificial sweeteners, gums, and various emulsifiers. Substances that previous generations would not even recognize as food. These ingredients place a heavy burden on the body. They irritate the gut lining, raise insulin levels quickly, strain the liver, harm dental health, and interfere with the immune system. After removing ultra-processed foods completely from my diet, the changes were remarkable. My digestion stabilized, my skin improved, and I never went to the dentist since then. My energy returned as well. Before focusing on what to add to your meals, the first step is understanding what to take away. Real healing begins when the irritants are removed. When you start eating whole, single-ingredient foods, things that truly come from the nature, you create the conditions your body needs to repair itself. That simple shift can be more powerful than most people realize. Now, what does it mean when we call a food that is anti-inflammatory? At its core, an anti-inflammatory food reduces chronic inflammation, markers in the body including IL-6, CRP, and TNF-alpha. These foods don't merely avoid causing harm. They actively support the healing process by strengthening the gut lining, lowering oxidative stress, and providing essential amino acids, vitamins, and minerals that the body can easily absorb. Because they are gentle on the digestive system, they don't overwhelm your organs or trigger dramatic insulin responses. They work in alignment with your natural biology rather than against it. So to make it long short, consume the foods that existed for thousands of years among human history because they have the power of healing. Meat. Ideally is red meat. Fat is good. Fatty steak, lamb, pork and chicken is fine, but I would prioritize red meat and organs like liver or heart. These are not your enemy. They are your foundation. Red meat is packed with all 9 essential amino acids needed to repair tissue, rebuild and growth of the muscle, and strengthen your gut lining. It's rich in iron, which is very needed especially during pregnancy. It's also something that body absorbs easily. So it's full of zinc, carnitine, B12, taurine, and creatine. These are all crucial for energy metabolism and brain health. Ground meat is the cheapest alternative, as indeed nowadays the meat can be very expensive. The fats in these cuts, especially saturated and monosaturated fats, fuel hormone production, support the brain, and stabilize blood sugar. It also protects the teeth by straightening the enamel. When you eat nutrient-dense meat, your pancreas and liver get a break because there's no massive glucose surge to deal with. It's clean fuel. It digests efficiently and it gives your body the building blocks to deal. Don't fear fat. It's one of the most anti-inflammatory nutrients you can eat when it comes from clean grass-fed animal sources. So butter, ghee, tallow is very much welcome in the diet, using it for sautéing or frying. Eggs are one of the most complete, affordable healing foods. They contain all 9 amino acids, healthy fats, and a wide spectrum of vitamins and minerals. They're loaded with choline for brain and liver function and lecithin for digesting fats. They also contain lutein, which protect the eyes and brain from oxidative damage. Don't fear the yolk, that's where the nutrients are. I noticed all these protein whites removing exactly the yolk, where you find nearly all of the egg's vitamins. A, D, E, K, B12, folate, and most of its minerals, iron, zinc, selenium. Vegetables. Carrot, broccoli, and cauliflower. Carrot, rich in beta-carotene, which the body converts to vitamin A, high in antioxidants that protect cells from damage, provide fiber, supporting digestion, and stable blood sugar, naturally low in calories. Broccoli, packed with vitamin C, vitamin K, folate, and fiber. It's a powerful compound linked to anti-cancer and anti-inflammatory benefits. Supports heart health and gut health, very nutrient-dense for very few calories. Cauliflower, a great source of vitamin C, vitamin K, folate, and choline, important for brain health. High in fiber, promoting good digestion, contains antioxidants and plant compounds that may lower inflammation. Salmon and fatty fish are true anti-inflammatory superheroes. They are packed with EPA and DHA omega-3s directly linked to lowering inflammation markers. They help repair cell membranes, protect the heart and brain, and improve insulin sensitivity. Wild-caught fish are high in vitamin D, selenium, iodine, and B12, When we eat salmon, we feel the benefits from it. It's pure clean energy. A couple of servings a week can dramatically change your inflammation profile. Always choose wild or line-caught fish if possible. Avocado. Avocado just does it all. It's high in monosaturated fats, mainly oleic acid, the same compound found in olive oil that lowers inflammation and supports heart and brain health. It's loaded with potassium, more than bananas, plus vitamin E, one of the strongest antioxidants for cellular protection. The fiber feeds good bacteria without spiking glucose. Garlic is one of the most powerful natural anti-inflammatories. It contains allicin, formed when garlic is crushed or chopped. Allicin acts as a natural antibiotic and antiviral. Garlic lowers blood pressure, cleans mucus, improves circulation, and modulates immune function. It even helps detox heavy metals. And it does make sense because my grandpa is 91-year-old, no health problems at all. He can run, he works hard every day on the farm, and he eats garlic every day of his life. He used to plant his own and preserve for winter among decades. Ideally, crush or slice it, let it sit for 5 to 10 minutes before cooking to activate allicin. You can also just mix with salt and a drop of vinegar and use as seasoning on fried fish, salads. Ginger, the gut's best friend. It contains gingerol, which has strong anti-inflammatory and antioxidant effects. It improves digestion, reduces nausea. It tremendously helps during pregnancy's first trimester and increases blood flow. It's especially helpful for gut issues because it helps the stomach empty more efficiently. Extra virgin olive oil is one of the most studied anti-inflammatory foods. It's rich in oleocanthal, a compound that acts like a natural ibuprofen by reducing inflammatory enzymes. It's also high in polyphenols and vitamin E, which protect cells from oxidative damage. Always choose cold-pressed olive oil in a dark bottle and avoid anything labeled light or refined. It's pretty expensive, but it does worth every penny. Including butter and tallow in your diet makes sense because they supply important fat-soluble vitamins like A, D, E, and K, which protect immunity, bone health, and hormone balance. These natural animal fats are also high stable for cooking, meaning they don't oxidize easily like many seed oils. Their nutrient density, clean energy, and ability to help your body absorb vitamins from other foods make them a practical and beneficial addition. Fruit and berries. I think it's ideal to eat the fruits that are in season because then the amount of pesticides is lower and the benefits are higher. So I'll try to eat pears and grapes during fall season and citruses during winter because this is how it's designed to exist. Now, blackberries, raspberries, blueberries, and strawberries, always organic, are great, but conventionally grown berries absorb pesticides like sponges. Berries are among the lowest GI fruits, meaning they have minimal impact on blood sugar. They are loaded with polyphenols, compounds that reduce oxidative stress, protect cells, and support blood vessels' health. They contain vitamin C, manganese, and help with collagen formation, skin repair, and immune balance. Eat them whole, not juiced or dried. For example, you cannot eat 10 oranges at once, but you can drink the juice of 10 oranges in no time. The fiber slows sugar absorption and feeds good gut bacteria. Nuts. Nuts are a powerful addition to a healthy diet because they're packed with healthy fats, protein, fiber, and essential vitamins and minerals. They help support heart health, keep you full longer, stabilize blood sugar, and provide antioxidants that protect your cells. Even small daily servings can boost your energy, improve nutrient intake, and support overall wellness. Almonds high in vitamin E, magnesium, and fiber. Walnuts rich in omega-3 fatty acids for heart and brain health. Cashews, good source of iron, zinc, and healthy fats. Pistachios high in protein and antioxidants, and they are a great source for snacking. These foods all have one thing in common. They are natural, nutrient-dense, and anti-inflammatory by design. They don't come from a lab or a barcode, they come from nature. And your body knows what to do with them. There's a while since I started to eat healthy, but over the years I noticed and heard many stories of people who became vegetarian, vegan, high carb, low fat, and none of them on a very long term seemed to be in harmony with the body's needs. You don't need complicated recipes or expensive ingredients, just pick one protein, one fat, and one plant. Keep it simple, it will put you at ease, it will be cheaper, and your health will improve dramatically. Examples: baked beef with green beans, avocado, and some Greek yogurt. Salmon with baked potatoes, carrots, and green beans. Beef chunks with corn and broccoli. Shrimp with green beans and rice. It's okay to start small, baby steps are good, so add some of these foods to your daily life and watch your energy, digestion, and mental clarity change. If this helped you, please like, subscribe, and share with someone who needs to hear it. This is Adas Bihamoud, a Lebanese lentil soup that's cheap to make, ready in 30 minutes, and perfect for meal prep all week. You'll need simple ingredients, very easy to find. You might already have them all. Half an onion, 3 gold potatoes, a carrot, lemon, 2 garlic cloves, and 1 cup of brown lentils. The secret ingredient, Swiss chard, a bunch of cilantro, and for spices, olive oil, cumin, and salt. Let's start with the preparation. Cut the onion in half. Peel off the skin and chop 1/2 finely. The smaller you chop it, the better. Then set it aside. Peel the potatoes and chop them into small cubes. It's important for the potatoes to be small so the flavor melts beautifully. Make sure they're about 1 inch in size. Do the same with the carrot. I cut it in half, then chop each part into very small cubes. After you finish, transfer them to a bowl. Next, chop the Swiss chard, including the pink stems. They're a good source of iron, and set it aside. Chop the cilantro roughly and add it on top of the Swiss chard. Squeeze the lemon into a glass. You can add more juice if you like it tangy. For this quantity, I used 1.5 lemons. Now, as we have everything prepared, the rest is easy. For cooking, in a stainless steel pan, add about 1/3 cup of olive oil. Because for us, it's an oil-free day, I sauteed the veggies in water instead. Either way, it's gonna be very delicious. If you want to follow my method, add 1/3 cup of water and let them saute until there is no water left. You'll need to watch closely if you saute with water so it doesn't burn. After about 5 to 7 minutes, add the rinsed lentils, followed by 1 liter of hot boiling water. Cover with a lid and let it cook for 20 minutes on a medium flame. In a separate pan, add the minced garlic and saute it for a minute in olive oil, about another 1/3 cup, or water instead. Let it cook for about a minute, then add the greens, the cilantro and the Swiss chard. Try not to make a mess like I did, if possible. Mix and let it simmer for about 5 minutes until everything is well combined. Meanwhile, the lentils should be cooked and it's time to add the greens mixture on top. Give it a good mix, then add the spices, about 1 teaspoon of salt and 1/4 teaspoon of cumin. Let them blend together beautifully. I also add another cup of water just to make the soup a bit more liquidy. Cover and bring it to a boil for another 5 minutes. After that, add the lemon juice. Give it a quick stir and serve the soup in a bowl. Wow. You want more? I want more too. Just lentils and some tomato sauce. And dinner or lunch is ready. Begin by rinsing 1 cup of yellow lentils under cold water. Transfer them to a pan with approximately 3 cups of water, about 3 times the volume of lentils. Cover with a lid and bring to a simmer over medium heat. Meanwhile, prepare the aromatics. Finely chop 2 cloves of garlic, or more if you prefer a stronger garlic flavor. I recommend chopping instead of mincing, as it creates a gentler infusion when sautéed. Add the chopped garlic and grate in roughly a teaspoon of fresh ginger. Stir for about a minute over medium heat, just enough to release the aroma, but be careful not to burn them as olive oil has a low smoke point. Next, incorporate the tomato base. Add half a cup of quality tomato sauce. If unavailable, 2 ripe, juicy tomatoes can be used as a substitute. Let the mixture simmer for 5 to 7 minutes, allowing the flavor to melt. It may appear slightly oily, but it will blend beautifully with the lentils. Returning to the lentils. Once they're halfway cooked, stir in a teaspoon of salt for even seasoning. Recover and continue cooking until most of the water is absorbed. Occasionally you may notice foam rising to the surface. Feel free to skim it off with a spoon if desired. Let's do a quick test for the lentils to check if they are ready. I take on a spoon some lentils and try to mash them. As you can see, few more minutes are ideal if possible, so I just add about another half a cup of water. It's not mandatory, but I like them as tender as it can get. Give it a quick stir and let them cook for another 5 minutes or so.
Finally, combine the two components, pour the tomato mixture over the cooked lentils, and stir thoroughly. The result is a rich, aromatic dish with beautifully balanced flavors.
Just make sure to add homemade pita bread. You're gonna have it on the menu every week. We are on the road again, traveling with kids, staying in an Airbnb, bags everywhere, toys everywhere, but with this $5 soup, I'll get you covered. This whole thing takes about 30 minutes, uses very basic ingredients, and proves that even in an Airbnb kitchen, missing half of your tools, you can still make something delicious. First thing, I'm chopping one onion as finely as I can. Now remember, this is me cooking with kids around in a new country, so my apologies for bad lighting. Into the pot, it goes with a little olive oil or whatever oil you have on hand. If you have garlic, add about 2 cloves of minced garlic here as well. I totally forgot to tell my husband to buy some, so no garlic today, but if you have it, it makes the soup even better. We're going to saute this for about 5 minutes until just it softens. While that's happening, I'm chopping one carrot into the tiniest cubes I can manage. Again, tiny helps the soup cook faster, especially on busy days. Toss the carrots into the pot and saute for another minute or two. By this time, the kitchen already smells so cozy and homely, even though it's not our real home. Next up, potatoes. I'm cutting them into small cubes and adding them right to the pot. This is the perfect time to season with salt. You can add pepper, cumin, paprika, whatever you like, but because we're on the move and my spice collection is basically non-existent right now, I'm keeping it simple with just salt. And honestly, it turns out amazing. After a couple of minutes of sauteing everything together, add water, or if you're lucky enough to have some vegetable broth, even better. Cover it and let it simmer for about 7 to 10 minutes until the potatoes start to soften. Now let's talk about peas and tomatoes. Peas go so well with tomatoes, they're like a classic combo. At first I thought I'd need 3 tomatoes, but 2 ended up being perfect. I graded mine because I wanted all that juicy tomato goodness without having to chop them. Again, cooking with limited tools. You can absolutely use canned tomatoes or tomato sauce if that's easier. Once the potatoes are cooked, I add the peas. I'm using pre-cooked peas to save time. I rinse them quickly under water and then pour them straight into the soup. Give that a stir, bring everything back to a light boil, and then add the tomato. Let it cook together for about 5 more minutes. At this point, the soup is already smelling amazing. So warm, so comforting, and so budget friendly. And now for the most important ingredient, fresh dill. This is what makes the soup taste really good. Chop it finely and add it right at the very end once everything is cooked. Don't cook the dill too long, just drop it in, give it a gentle stir, and turn off the heat. The fragrance is incredible. And that's it, a delicious, warming $5 soup made in an Airbnb with kids around and boxes everywhere. If I can do this in this chaos, trust me, you can do it too. If you enjoyed this quick travel-friendly recipe, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and leave a comment telling me what easy meals you make when you're traveling on short time. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I'll see you in the next one. If you're looking for a cheap, nutritious dinner that you can easily make in an Airbnb while traveling, you absolutely need to try this simple spinach and lentil curry. It uses basic ingredients, doesn't require any fancy equipment, and comes together with almost no effort, perfect for a cozy meal on the road. Start by bringing a pot of water to a boil. Nothing complicated here, just enough water to comfortably cover your lentils. Once it's bubbling, add in your 2 cups of dried lentils. You can use red, green or brown depending on what you find at the store. Let the lentils cook for around 20 minutes or until they're soft and tender. Give them a stir every now and then so they cook evenly. While the lentils are doing their thing, grab 1 medium white onion and chop it finely. This will add a nice base of flavor to the curry. Heat a little oil in a pan, olive oil, vegetable oil, whatever you got, and saute the onion for about 5 to 6 minutes until it turns soft. Next, add in about 3 cloves of garlic, minced or chopped, and saute that for another minute. You want the garlic to become fragrant but not burnt. Now it's time to build the flavor. Add a combination of red chili powder, ground coriander, curry powder, cumin, and a bit of turmeric. Cook the spices for about a minute to wake them up and help them release their aroma. While the spices are smelling amazing, add in a couple of chopped tomatoes. Season them right away with a pinch of salt and a little black pepper. Let them cook for about 5 minutes, stirring gently until they soften and start to break down into a thick, saucy mixture. This will become the flavorful base that ties the whole curry together. When the tomatoes are fully cooked and the lentils are soft, pour the tomato mixture into the pot of lentils. Stir everything together so the spices coat the lentils evenly. Now grab a whole box of fresh spinach. Add it straight into the pot. It may look like a lot at first, but spinach cooks down dramatically. Stir it in, and if the mixture looks too thick, add a small splash of water. Season again with a little salt and pepper, then let the curry simmer for another 5 minutes. Season again with a little salt and pepper, then let the curry simmer for another 5 to 10 minutes. This helps all the flavor blend and gives you a chance to adjust the consistency to your liking. If you want it thicker, simmer longer. If you want it thinner, add a bit more water. Once everything is soft, creamy, and beautifully combined, your spinach and lentil curry is ready to serve. For the perfect finishing touch, squeeze a bit of fresh lemon juice over the top right before eating. It brightens the whole dish and balances the spices perfectly. Serve this with some steamed rice if you have access to a pot or rice cooker, and if it happens to find fresh naan at a local bakery or market, even better. Hi friends, welcome back. With everything getting more expensive, groceries included, I wanna help you save some money but still eat healthy. So today we're gonna be making 5 budget-friendly meals that are made with simple ingredients and that have just the right balance of protein, carbs, and nutrients you need. Just 10 minutes of hands-on and the oven does the rest.
We're starting with the protein since it takes the longest to cook. I'm using 90% lean beef chunks, but feel free to use any cut of beef you prefer. It all works well here. Add your beef to a baking pan. I like to rinse it quickly under cold water, then pat dry. Season simply with salt and black pepper, sometimes less is more. Drizzle about 1 cup of tomato sauce over the top, then add another 1 cup of water to help distribute the flavor evenly. Cover with a lid or foil, then place in a preheated oven at 370 Fahrenheit for about 1 hour and 30 minutes. When it's done, just look at the texture. Tender, juicy, and full of flavor. While the beef is resting, let's warm up our side. In a saucepan, add a can of drained green beans and a spoon of melted butter. Cover and cook over medium heat for 3 minutes, just enough to bring out the flavor. If you prefer fresh green beans, those work too. For the dressing, I'm using Greek yogurt seasoned with a pinch of cumin and salt. Add a splash of water to thin out slightly if too thick. Then blend or whisk for about 30 seconds to 1 minute until smooth. For some healthy fats, I'm adding fresh avocado slices. Let me know in the comments what you would pair this with, and don't forget to subscribe for more.
This one has the perfect balance of protein, carbs, and nutrients, and that makes it a really healthy, simple lunch idea. We're starting off simple by throwing the salmon in warm water, since that takes the longest. This quantity will be enough for 4 servings. Next, cut the potatoes. You can pat them dry with a paper towel to remove excess starch and moisture. This helps them crisp up better in the oven. Transfer them to a baking sheet, then drizzle generously with olive oil. I like to use my hands to make sure every piece is well coated. Don't season them yet, salt can slow down the crisping process. Bake them at 370 Fahrenheit for about 35 minutes. While those are in the oven, bring some butter to a boil in a pot. We'll use it to steam the carrots. I'm using a simple setup with a strainer over the pot. Steam them for about 8 to 10 minutes depending on how soft you like them. Once the salmon is fully thawed, remove it from the packaging. I personally prefer wild Alaskan salmon. It has a cleaner taste and fewer additives than farmed salmon, which I avoid unless dining out. Score the salmon gently with a knife. This helps it cook more evenly and also makes flipping easier if the skin is still on. Season the cuts with salt and black pepper to distribute the flavor more evenly. Heat some olive oil in a stainless steel pan over medium heat. Olive oil has a lower smoke point, so keep an eye on the temperature to avoid burning it. Once the oil is hot, add 2 pieces of salmon at a time. Let them cook for about 5 minutes without moving them. Patience here really pays off. Then flip and cook for another 4 minutes or until done to your liking. Now for the green beans, I'm using canned ones for convenience, but fresh will work just as well. Warm them through in a pan for about 3 minutes. By now the carrots should be ready too. You can test them with a fork. They should be tender but not mushy. I overcooked mine slightly, so next time I'll steam them for just 8 minutes. I like to layer the green beans over the carrots, then drizzle with a little olive oil, salt, and black pepper. The potatoes are now beautifully roasted and ready for seasoning. Add salt and black pepper to taste. I prefer to keep it simple. And that's it. This dish is wholesome, satisfying, and makes for generous portions. Feel free to add your favorite toppings or sauces when serving.
We're starting with the shrimp. I'm using about 700 grams of wild shrimp today. If you can, always go for wild caught over farmed one for a cleaner taste and fewer additives. My shrimp were frozen, so I defrosted by soaking them in lukewarm water for about 5 minutes. Then patted them dry using paper towels. This is important to help them sear nicely in the pan and prevent any oil splatter. Now let's heat up a stainless steel pan on medium heat, and I'm adding a generous amount of olive oil. Since shrimp cook very quickly, this dish comes together fast, but olive oil does have a low smoke point, so make sure your heat isn't too high. Once the oil is hot, in go the shrimp. Spread them out evenly and let them cook for about 3 minutes on one side without touching them. This gives them a nice golden color. Then flip them over and cook for another 2 minutes or until they've turned a beautiful pink and have slightly curled up. Remember, shrimp are super easy to overcook, so keep an eye on them. Once they're done, remove them from the pan and place them on a plate lined with napkins or paper towels to soak up any excess oil. I like to keep the seasoning simple, just a sprinkle of salt, but feel free to get creative. Smoked paprika, garlic powder, or a splash of lemon can all add amazing flavor. You can absolutely use a rice cooker for this next step, but if you don't have one, here's how I steam rice on the stovetop. Start by rinsing 1 cup of rice under cold water at least 3 times. This helps remove extra starch so the rice turns out fluffy, not sticky. Then add it to a saucepan and pour in water about 1 inch above the rice level and bring it to a gentle boil. Once it's boiling, turn the heat down to the lowest setting and let it steam slowly until all the water is absorbed. Avoid stirring or uncovering it too often, just let the steam do its job. This takes about 10 to 15 minutes depending on the rice. Now for our green beans, I'm using canned ones today for convenience, but fresh ones work just as well if you have the time to trim and steam them. Toss them into a small pan, cover it with a lid, and let them heat up on low for about 3 to 5 minutes. Since canned greens usually come pre-seasoned with a bit of salt, I keep it simple. Sometimes just a drizzle of olive oil or a touch of butter adds a nice finish. It's a delicious meal that strikes the perfect balance of protein, carbs, and essential nutrients. We're starting off with the beef since it takes the longest to cook. This recipe makes approximately 4 servings. I slice the beef into 1-inch thick pieces and season generously with salt and black pepper. Keeping it simple makes a difference as you can taste the natural flavors better. Next, I add 1 cup of tomato sauce. I'm using Rao's brand because of its clean, high-quality ingredients, and 1 cup of water to help everything blend together. For extra flavor, I thinly slice about 3 cloves of garlic. I gently place some slices into the sauce and the rest directly on the meat. This gives it a delicious garlicky touch. Once everything is combined, I place the pot into a preheated oven at 370 Fahrenheit and bake for about 2 hours. While the meat is cooking, bring a pot of water to a boil for steaming the broccoli. I use a simple setup with a strainer over the pot. Steam the broccoli for about 6 to 10 minutes depending on how tender you want it to be. This meal is very customizable. Feel free to swap your favorite vegetables. Green beans, for example, make a great alternative. Next, I add 2 ears of corn to boiling water and let them cook for about 6 to 10 minutes. Cooking time can be different depending on the size and freshness of the corn, but 8 to 10 minutes is usually perfect for a tender bite. Once the broccoli is well done, I like to keep it simple with just a pinch of salt,
but you can add your favorite seasonings. For the corn, I use a method that I learned from the people of Indiana. Just melt some butter on top and sprinkle with salt to taste. It's incredibly simple, yet so flavorful. Beef is now ready, and as you can see, the tomato sauce has created a rich, flavorful base. The meat is tender, juicy, and full of taste, yet so easy to make. This meal takes under 30 minutes of active preparation and yields 4 generous portions, making it perfect for meal prep. It stores well in the refrigerator for up to 3 days. You don't need to be a chef to eat well. This dish is nourishing, easy to prepare, and absolutely satisfying. Feel free to customize it with your favorite sauces or toppings and enjoy. To begin, I heat a bit of olive oil in a stainless steel pan over medium heat. Once it's warm, I add a small amount of ghee for extra richness. Though if you don't have ghee on hand, regular butter works just as well. Into the melted fat, I add freshly minced garlic, giving it a quick stir to release its flavor and aroma. After about a minute or so, I grate in some fresh ginger. The combination of garlic and ginger creates an incredibly fragrant base that instantly fills the kitchen with an amazing smell. Now let's prepare the chicken. I'm using skinless chicken thighs, which are tender, flavorful, and cook beautifully in a pan. For seasoning, I keep it simple but bold, a sprinkle of sea salt, freshly ground black pepper, and a generous pinch of smoked paprika. Feel free to add your favorite herbs or spices. This is a flexible recipe, so make it your own. Place the seasoned chicken thighs into the hot pan. Let them sear until golden brown on one side. This usually takes about 7 to 10 minutes, depending on the thickness. Try not to move them too much, allowing them to form a nice crust. While the chicken is cooking, let's prepare a creamy yogurt-based dressing to complement the dish. I prefer using a blender for a smoother consistency, but a simple whisk or spoon will do the trick as well. To the yogurt, I add a pinch of ground cumin, a little salt, and just enough water to reach a creamy, pourable texture. Blend it all together for about a minute, and that's it. You now have a delicious tangy dressing that adds a fresh contrast to the rich chicken. Once the chicken is beautifully cooked and golden, I serve 2 thighs per portion topped with about 3 tablespoons of the yogurt dressing. To round out the meal, I move on to the green beans. In another stainless steel pan, I add 1 can of green beans along with a tablespoon of butter. Cover the pan with a lid and let the beans warm through and absorb the buttery flavor. This should take about 2 to 3 minutes. It's a simple step, but it really elevates the texture and taste of the beans. For a final touch, I add a few slices of red pepper cheese and Colby Jack cheese, which melt slightly and add a savory richness to the plate. And there you have it. A quick, healthy, and delicious homemade lunch. It's nourishing, flavorful, and ready in no time.
Are you trying to lose weight but finding it harder than expected? Do you feel tired throughout the day, struggle with brain fog, or constantly crave sweet foods? Maybe you feel like you need to eat all the time. If any of that sounds familiar, chances are you're dealing with unstable glucose levels. Don't worry, you're not alone. I was right there too, feeling exhausted and reaching for something sweet more often than I wanted. In this video, we're going to dive into a few simple food habits that can seriously change how you feel day to day. These hacks can help you feel more energized, less hungry, in a better mood, and make fat loss feel more manageable than before. Before we jump in, I want to introduce someone who inspired a little bit this video, which is Jessie Inchauspé, better known as the Glucose Goddess. She is a biochemist and the author of Glucose Revolution. After reading and studying her work, I decided to put several of her ideas to test myself. Over the course of a week, I tested 4 different hacks by eating the same meals in different ways and removing sweets or making them an exception out of curiosity to see how my body responded. I also ate the same sugary foods, making some exception for the holidays, and at the end I combined all the hacks into one ultimate meal to see how much of a difference they could make together. There's also a bonus hack at the end, so stick around. First, let's quickly talk about glucose and why it matters. Glucose is a type of sugar that your body uses for energy. Most of it comes from carbohydrates. After you eat, glucose enters your bloodstream. When too much enters too quickly, your energy rises fast and then crashes just as hard. That crash is what makes you feel tired, foggy, and hungry again soon after eating. Over time, repeating this cycle can lead to constant cravings, weight gain, and more serious health issues besides a non-productive routine. That's why keeping glucose levels